The ministry that saved the world saved it because ministry is able to overcome the market. The market is what rules the world. The market is the manifestation of the flesh. There is a reason why this appellation is used. Markets deal with physicalities. Markets take physical things and turn them into assets through a process called commodification. The market turns the article into a product, but the addition of a buyer and a seller. The product is priced, defining it as a commodity. Anything and everything physical can be given a price and become part of the market. The market is not a thing. The market is simple the personification of people into buyers and sellers. We are both buyer and seller, but in a serial way. Everyone wants to sell high and buy low. So we are all in conflict with each other and see each other as a risk. The market is not advertised as such, but the market is an enemy of faith. Those who trust open themselves up to betrayal. This is why the saying is, cash on the barrelhead. There is no trust in the market, nor should they be. We are economic animals according to the market. Competition of jobs leads to unemployment. Some lose out. Competition for customers leads to bankruptcies. Competition for money leads to debt, high interest rates, and inflation, and so on. The only thing that is certain about competition is that there will be a winner and a whole lot of losers. Ministry promotes purpose and prioritizes the purpose of man. There can be only one purpose, and that is perfection. One cannot aim for anything less, or it is not a true purpose, but simply a goal on the way to perfection. We can have no other direction than that which is given by our desire for perfection. Markets only direct us towards profit, towards winning vis-a-vis others. Money measures our success because it digitalizes property and, to some extent, power. Money represents assets because it is itself an asset that has universal demand. But the love of money is the root of all sorts of evil, because it leads to the commodification of everything. It is the love of money that ties us most securely to the market. The market indeed only has one product that is bought and sold, and that is money. The goods and services exist only to acquire money, and those who say otherwise are liars. Nothing is bought or sold unless it leads to an improved bottom line, unless there is no option to do otherwise. All our decisions, even the decision of how much to donate to the church, is based on the impact the expense has on our liquidity. Even the employee is recorded as a liability to the company he or she works for. The cost of paying people for what they do goes into the ledger as an expense to the company. It is an expense that needs to be reduced or eliminated as much as possible. In the eyes and the expense account of the company, the employee is viewed almost as an enemy of the company he or she works for. It might make perfect sense for a corporation to lay off 20,000 employees if productivity is not unduly diminished. But how does this help the world or the community? If every company fired all of their employees, no company could remain in business. The employees of one company are the customers of the rest. As an employee, you are a threat to your employer. You are, as an employee, part of any company's biggest liability. In this sense, the company is at war with itself. A company needs employees to create and produce its goods and services, but it does not want them as an expense on its books. There is a constant tension between tapping the employee for ideas and productivity and eliminating them as an expense to the company. The society we are part of is susceptible to parasitism. The companies we work for are parasitic in that they want free labor. But nothing in this system of things is immune to free riders. A priori developed a solution to the problem of free riders that we offer free to interested parties. Eliminating free riding generates economic development and permits the unlimited creation of jobs. The program is risk-free and takes nothing more than a few persons to initiate. It is a ministry because ministry is the polar opposite of markets. Markets produce competition, and from this is produced a few winners and a large number of losers. But the central problem of the market is that technically the ideal scenario is to pay nothing and charge an infinite price. Thus, the market is bracketed by infinities, not a good sign if one is looking for logical explanations and solutions. A ministry is an organization that feeds, that is, provides, for believers or members. Its key element is the mutual support. This is done under the aegis of Scripture. A ministry has a purpose and a direction given by the desire for perfection, which is the desire to live according to the teachings of God. We are to live as the image of God. However, despite what many think, God made man in the image of God, not you and I. It is not the physical being that is made in the image of God, because God is not a physical being. We attain to the image of God in ministry, in fulfilling the purpose for which we were created. God declared we were to be made in His image. God is a community, and we are to be made in the image of this community. This defines our purpose. If markets are permitted to continue to do their thing, we as a people, nation, and race will become more and more divided, and this includes the power and wealth disparities that are becoming more and more extreme. Avarice might be common or even universal, but it is divisive in how it plays out. How many movies do we see where men get together to rob a bank, but having acquired the wealth they so desperately wanted, they realize it is not enough and set about to steal the bank's money from the rest of the gang? We see avarice in billionaires who, despite their wealth, cannot stop working and trying to get more. But this personal aggrandizement does not create an identity for man. It does not bind us together. For this, we need this process to be common to all. That is, for it to constitute a purpose for all good men to follow. Ministry. To be formed in the identity of man, we need to bind together, and this requires a ministry. A ministry can be anything from 3 to 15 persons. Romans 1 verses 18 to 20. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them. For God hath shewed it unto them. For the invisible things of Him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even His eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. It is through the ministry that the invisible is made manifest, for it is in ministry that faith is seen clearly. It is in ministry that faith becomes focused on God and enables works of faith to be done that reveals the spirit of faith. The works of faith are done in the expectation of a reward, not that it is the reward one is after, but when we act in faith, we expect it to produce a positive response. Works of faith build up the ministry and help bind us together. Works of faith done in obedience to the Spirit gives us the works of faith. Galatians 5 verses 22 to 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. This suggests when one is in ministry there are no conflicts. Peace has been restored. This is because in ministry everyone is focused on doing works of faith. In a ministry we do not work for one another directly, but as for God, for the ministry. The ministry serves as a way to manifest works of faith, for the things of God are made manifest in ministry. Saints work for the ministry as an employer with other members as their clientele. In a ministry, the body binds together through works of faith that builds up the ministry, that is, the members of the ministry. Everyone is paid at the same rate. Each person helps out the other members of the ministry and is paid for the work they do at the going rate. The buyer of goods and services pay the ministry for the goods and services they acquire. Goods and services are priced according to the time content, that is, according to the labor theory of value. This means profits are not needed. When a new business is set up, the ministry simply transfers people and capital to where it is needed. There is no need for the state because the ministry keeps everyone honest. We are paid for the work we do. We own what we create, which is the value added to assets. No one is entitled to make claims against what belongs to someone else, so everyone works other than those who are dependents of a member.